Professor Velder's crystalline limbs clicked sharply against the lectern, a clear sign of irritation. The Zenthri scholar had taught quantum probability mathematics at the Galactic Institute for nearly 3 centuries, and never, not once, had he encountered a species as unbearably frustrating as humans. The assignment, Velder announced, his resonant voice translated instantly through neural implants, is due in 7 planetary cycles. There will be no extensions. A low wave of anxiety passed through the massive lecture hall. Zenth students immediately began forming organized study clusters. The insectoid critic scholars activated data slates, already cataloging reference materials. Even the battle-hardened Draxian warriors, known for their confidence, looked uneasy. Only one student showed no concern at all. Jake Morrison, the human exchange student from Earth, sat in the back row with his boots casually propped on the desk. Staring at the ceiling like this was a minor inconvenience rather than an academic nightmare. Professor Velder noticed. He had designed this assignment specifically to humble the humans. Their presence at the institute had been disruptive from the start, reckless problem-solving methods, blatant disregard for established procedures, and an infuriating habit of bypassing complexity altogether. The task was elegant in its cruelty. Students were required to calculate probability matrices for 17 intersecting quantum events across 4-dimensional space. After that, they were to propose 3 independent solutions to prevent a hypothetical cascade failure within a Dyson sphere energy grid. The problem demanded mastery of advanced mathematics, deep quantum theory, and meticulous attention to every detail. Most species required the full 7 cycles. Some required more. Then Jake's voice broke the tension. Quick question. Velder's optical sensors narrowed. Yes, Mr. Morrison. So, is this what you're looking for? Jake raised his data pad. The hall went dead silent. A few students' breathing apparatuses hissed in disbelief. Impossible, Velder snapped. I assigned this 30 seconds ago. I know, Jake replied, already standing. But it's kind of straightforward. He strolled down the aisle, hands in his pockets, each step intensifying the professor's irritation. You added artificial constraints in sectors 5 and 12, Jake continued casually. That actually simplifies everything. Once you ignore the distractions and focus on the cascade pattern, it stops being a 4-dimensional problem at all. Velder's skin shifted to a deep, furious purple. Distractions? Professor Velder hissed. I spent 2 months constructing this problem. And it's impressive, Jake said, reaching the podium. Seriously. But here's the thing about humans, we're absurdly good at recognizing patterns. He tapped his data pad, and a glowing hologram burst to life above the classroom. Elegant equations floated in radiant blue light, perfectly aligned and disturbingly neat. You defined 17 quantum events, Jake explained, but events 6, 9, and 14 are mathematical reflections of events 2, 3, and 8. Which means you're only dealing with 11 unique variables. Professor Velder's 3 hearts skipped a beat. And once you apply a modified Henderson-Yamamoto theorem, Jake continued, you can collapse the entire probability matrix into a single vector equation. Velder stared at the projection, centuries of experience scanning each calculation. Every line was flawless. Every shortcut was correct. The professor hated it. As for the Dyson sphere, Jake went on, clearly enjoying himself now, you don't actually need 3 solutions. 1 is enough. A murmur spread through the room. Reroute the energy through the secondary conduits in a spiral instead of a grid, Jake said. It's about 2% less efficient, but it completely removes the cascade failure risk. The other 2 solutions would just be the same idea dressed up differently, so, why bother? A Zenth student near the front emitted a sharp, crystalline sound, their species equivalent of a gasp. But the computational power required to verify those patterns. I didn't compute them, Jake interrupted with a shrug. I just looked. He turned to face the class. Humans evolved as persistence hunters. We're wired to spot order in chaos, track inconsistencies, and find the fastest route to an outcome. Your brains might be bigger than ours, but ours are optimized for creative problem-solving under pressure. Velder's appendages trembled. This assignment incorporates material from 17 advanced disciplines. Yeah, Jake admitted. And if I followed every formal procedure and showed every step, it probably would take a week. But you asked for solutions, not proof that I suffered. A ripple of stunned silence followed. The professor remained silent for a long moment. The lecture hall waited, breath held across dozens of species. Finally, with visible reluctance, Professor Velder inclined his head. Your solution is acceptable, Mr. Morrison. Jake grinned. Awesome. You may consider the assignment complete. Well, since I've got a free week now, Jake added, slinging his bag over his shoulder, do you mind if I audit that advanced warp theory class? I've got a few ideas about faster-than-light travel that Professor Quintar might enjoy. Before anyone could respond, Jake strolled out of the hall as casually as he'd walked in. Professor Velder stood frozen. Only then did he truly understand the warnings other faculty members had tried to give him. Humans didn't think outside the box. They didn't even acknowledge that a box existed. As the students filed out, murmuring in disbelief, Velder activated his terminal and began redesigning the next assignment immediately. This time, he would remove all exploitable symmetries. He would eliminate shortcuts. He would build a problem so convoluted that even humans couldn't bypass it. Or so he hoped. Somewhere in the distance, Jake Morrison was already thinking about warp fields, smiling at the idea that the universe, once again, had tried to overcomplicate something simple.